can't get it out today. Good. How are you?
That's good. I'm good.
Yeah. Sort of crappy weather today, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's rained a lot here, but
it's a good day to stay inside. Write some
definitely
code.
a good day to stay inside. Definitely.
Write some code. All right. See who's we'll welcome some guests here this morning.
Let's see who's here. Yeah. Hey, Beth's here. Glenn's here. Hey guys, Adam's here. David's here. David, how you doing? And Fiona.
Hey Fiona, how you doing? All right. Welcome. So we had a cancellation today. Sean was going to come in and show us some stuff, and some stuff.
We could try and reschedule him for next week.
Yeah.
So
I think he's a smart dude. He'll be coming in.
Yeah. So hopefully we get him back next week.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some other things today.
Yeah. Talk
JavaScript
about
templating. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Vanilla JS, no chocolate, just vanilla.
Okay.
Plain vanilla. But plain vanilla is good though. I mean, I think if you go to Cold Stone and get vanilla, it's actually good.
It's pretty good. Depends what you put with it too. That's the thing. Some people only like vanilla.
Yeah, exactly. Vanilla's good.
I don't know. Vanilla's good. I don't know. I like coffee ice cream. Coffee ice cream's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm not a big fan. But that's okay though. I mean, like we can still be friends, you know. Like I'll get vanilla.
I don't know. You say you don't like it? I don't know. That's pretty
cool.
funny.
We got some more people coming in.
We do. We have some other people joining us. Maverick's here again with the cool Tesla logo. Wilfredo's back again. Hey, Wilfredo. Yeah. John's here. Derek's back again.
Derek, hello, lunchtime friends. Hey, Derek, how you doing?
We actually mentioned your name this morning, Derek. We're talking about video games.
So we're talking about video games today.
Your name came up.
Got a challenge coming up.
I'm feeling good. I don't know how you're feeling.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Here you go. Fiona likes vanilla with hot chocolate sauce. I can see that.
A true chocolate fan right there. Put chocolate on everything. You know, so like that. So
that's funny.
What flavor is chocolate JS? Yeah.
Steve said here, vanilla is delicious. On the computer, it makes you cry, and in the kitchen, it makes you cry for another reason.
Okay. All right.
You definitely want to put it on your computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, here you go. I didn't know this. Travesty Media has a complete vanilla JS course, no frameworks or jQuery. Okay. It has its merits for sure. We're going to talk about some
vanilla
of that.
JS is a movement. So but I'm going to talk about templating today. If you didn't want to use a framework.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Estevan's back again too. Oh, we have somebody new here too. And Bob J. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Been watching these, but first time catching one live. So cool. We're glad you could.
Okay, cool. Glad you made it, man.
That's cool.
So
and our buddy Alex Lee's back. Tech Rally. Cool.
So Tech Rally.
So let's do one thing first.
Okay.
We're talking about this in the Discord chat earlier with some people, but there's a SpaceX launch today.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So it's the first time. Yeah, Elon Musk is the first time he's sending people into space. So might happen today. So like scheduled for like 4:33. So we'll see. It probably gets scrubbed because there's a lot of terrible weather down there. But we'll see. It might happen today. If it's not today, it'll be Saturday. So it's kind of interesting. They're basically sending people to space in a spaceship Tesla.
We talk about pressure all the time. Can you imagine the pressure that Elon's feeling right now? I mean, like, that's got to be scary.
I don't know. He plays that off like he doesn't feel anything.
You know what I mean? It's happened. It happened to NASA.
No,
I mean, like
100%. It's not. This is not like. This is not safe technology.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, like, whatever you think of Elon Musk, whether you love him or hate him or somewhere in the middle, but like, I guarantee he's sweating bullets today. Probably. Like, I would be scared to death. My stomach would be in knots. Like, it's going to work. You think, you hope it does, but you don't know until you like that thing, and it just
exactly. I don't know with this guy. I don't know what he thinks, but yeah, this is their this is a website today. You can go here. And you can click the little watch the launch. It's live at like in a few minutes, I think. Sometime just after at like 12:30, I think, something like that.
His rocket lands. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah. See, here's what happens. If you come down here, look, they have this cool. I like this website, by the way. It's super cool. So here's what happens with this thing. Like, it launches, They do this ascent, they do this flip maneuver, they have the separation of the pod that shoots off to the International Space Station, and the rocket comes back down and lands on a drone ship. Like, this is Star Trek stuff. Like, it really is. It really is. It's kind of nuts. So yeah,
bigger news about Elon Musk. I was reading where Tom Cruise is going to do the next MI, whatever he's at, the next Mission Impossible. They're going to film in space, and Elon Musk is going to take the camera crew up in space.
That's nuts. He's going to go film. He's actually going to go film in the International Space Station. Right. It's like that's where they're going to take him to. Like that's just. We were talking about this. Do you really need to do that? I don't think. Can you not fake it? Somebody at the studio is like, can we just not use? Can we not fake it and say we did it? It's going to cost like $1 billion less.
Sandra Bullock did it. She faked space.
Pretty. And it looked pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. So I don't know if you guys are going to watch it, but Beth also posted in the Discord channel too that there is a simulator. So let me show you this real quick because this thing's pretty cool. Like I admit, I'd actually seen this before and I had tried it once before and I failed miserably at it. And it's really long. It takes a while to play. So you do this thing and it's kind of cool. Apparently this is similar to the interface they're actually using, which by the way, these guys are navigating this thing on a touchscreen interface.
It's exactly like
on a touch screen. Like it's like nuts.
Next Generation, like Star Trek Next Generation.
So you're supposed to like land this thing. You're supposed to like do all these like I don't know. You can pitch and roll and do all this stuff, and you're supposed to come in and land on that green bit up there. And
is it inverted?
No, it's not. All right. So it's like you're supposed to, and I'm like, man, this is impossible. It's tough and it's slow, and then you can like boost your thing, and you can crash into the International Space Station if you want to. So it's kind of interesting, but this is kind of neat. I thought this was cool. Yeah. The fact that they're gonna control this thing via touchscreen is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it's not your old school shuttle joysticks and a million buttons, right. I guess. Some of the pictures of inside this cockpit thing are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nuts. So I thought that was interesting for today.
All right. So what else we got? I got a meme review, right?
We do. Let's do.
All right, let's check it out. Let's do some explosions.
Let's do my little Let's do my explosion bumper.
Yeah. So I got a message the other day that someone wants those sneakers like they're real. Like like a real.
One day,
one day, man. Yeah,
maybe they're not going to be Chucks. I don't know, but one day, maybe we get a sneaker deal.
Hot seller selling sneakers with my face on them. I think that'll move them.
It'd be so weird. Imagine the kids down at like the basketball court, like, you got your bobbies on. Like,
bobbies. I only code with my bobbies. I only write code with my bobbies. Any release is done with my bobbies on.
That's funny. That's the advertising campaign. That's pretty funny.
Stars.
So
Converse Bob Stars.
Bob Stars. I like it. I like that.
You might be on something, Derek.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. I forget who originally made that. I think somebody in here made the original graphic. I just borrowed it.
Yeah.
Somebody put it in our meme channel. Okay, so today's meme, there wasn't a lot posted in there new today, but I like this one from last week, so I'm going to share this one, and you're going to like this one too. It's actually gaming, and it's Avengers, it's Thanos, so I thought it was pretty funny. So yeah, Epic Games did release GTA 5 for free, which I don't think it is anymore. I think it switched to like Civilization or something for free now.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that waited 7 years to save $60, and they called me.
They called me a madman.
I thought that was pretty cool. So I just got a PC, so I did download it for free. So
okay,
why not? I didn't
get the free one, so
I'm with Thanos on this one.
Thanos was right.
Thanos was right. Definitely about Grand Theft Auto. That's pretty funny. This is true, Damien. Actually, we do have custom Nikes. We do have Coda Foundry custom Nikes.
The difference is that I had to pay for them. So like I want Nike to give them to me.
Yeah.
So like so we have custom Nike shoes and custom Nike jackets.
We do. Maybe I'll show them. I have mine here. Maybe I'll show them tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, we can show them off.
We did make custom Nikes. We have custom 270s that Bobby so graciously gave to the staff. So
yeah, that's kind of cool.
Super cool. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, Code of Foundry kicks. That's what we got. Okay. So before we go into the JavaScript templating, let's talk about tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow. Big announcement.
We're doing a thing tomorrow. We've teased this a lot.
It's a huge announcement.
And we do have a big announcement tomorrow. And we are going to give something away tomorrow too. We're going to give away a one-of-a-kind something tomorrow.
Yeah. So hopefully someone will appreciate it and will actually want it. So like, yeah.
Right.
But but we're giving away something. So
join us tomorrow. I don't know how we're going to give it away yet. I don't know if the bot can pick somebody at random.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Something like that. We'll figure that part out. But just be here tomorrow and we'll give it away to one of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll figure out. It's something physical, so we'll figure out shipping and that stuff too.
And then you can put it on eBay later, I guess.
Sure. If you really want to.
Mondo Tees poster. You stand in line and get a Mondo Tees poster, and then you. So.
Yep. I have flips of those. So tomorrow, big day. We have a big announcement tomorrow. We are exclusively telling you guys first, so you won't see it or hear it anywhere else before here tomorrow at lunchtime. After then, hopefully you see and hear about it everywhere.
Everywhere on the face of planet Earth, or at least in the United States. So
exactly. We have a big push after tomorrow for a cool thing.
Exactly.
So, yep.
Right, cool.
Okay, so let's talk about templating with
templating. Check it out. I need to share my screen, don't I?
You do. I need to see it.
Let's see here. All right. So what I'm going to show you is something that I'm working on right now. Whoa, that happened.
That's kind of crazy.
Take that off. Try that again.
Try again. Nope.
That's weird. Let me delete this.
That's really strange.
Try that again. That didn't work in our practice.
No, it worked before.
There it goes. All right, cool. So hopefully it won't happen.
Okay, cool. We're trying, Esther.
Yeah, Tech says, "Ro, you're really hyping." We are hyping it, man. So like, but just show up tomorrow. Hopefully the hype.
Eric says, "What is Vanilla JS?"
Yeah, so Vanilla JS is stuff that's just generically built into the browser, and there's no templating. There's no frameworks like React, Angular, jQuery, and so a lot of people do want these smaller, lightweight techniques they can do with just plain JavaScript.
Right.
Nothing else, and that's it. So if you think about it, it should be possible because all the frameworks like React, Angular are built on top of JavaScript. So it should be possible to do everything those can do. And so, this is a lot of movement where a lot of people are like not wanting the heavyweight kind of frameworks, and they just want something that's more lighter weight, more performant. It doesn't have as many dependencies. And this is a way to do that. So what I'm going to show you now is a templating is a way when you want to repeat information and you want to have a block of code that holds the structure or the display of it, and you don't necessarily want to hard code those values. Now, what this is a lot of times achieved in JavaScript backend is like you're taking HTML and you're building HTML up in strings, and then you concatenate strings together to build out the HTML you want to display. I personally hate that. It's messy. I don't think it's super secure. I think you can inject things in it, but it's also bad for styling, trying to style that. And then when you have a lot of it going on, it's really difficult to maintain. So projects can get really kind of ugly and real quick. And so I want to show you a way that you can do some templating things. Now, I'm going to show you a subset today. I'm actually working on this for a longer tutorial that I'll release here in a week or so. And then, and so we'll go over some more of the more complex techniques during that tutorial because I don't think we'll have enough time today. So I want to give you a flavor of what's possible. Maybe you'll go out and research more about what other people are doing. So let's check this out. So what this is right here is you're seeing a web page, and this is a standard kind of coding challenge page for Code-Founded Students tutorials. And so when they build a coding challenge, what we're recommending starting in July is that each coding challenge be a mini site, which is another thing that we're pushing out because it gives the person looking at your portfolio more to do, they're more engaged, instead of just showing like plain old code or something like that, you know? So like this is Fizz Buzz. So Fizz Buzz is a classic coding challenge, and maybe the original coding challenge, maybe versus string is more original, but a lot of people ask this in whiteboarding sessions. They probably don't ask it as much anymore because, you know, it's so widely covered.
Right.
And I'm not going to tell you how to solve Fizz Buzz today because I have made Fizz Buzz an 1.5-hour tutorial on that, and the Code-Founded students call it Fizz Buzz the movie because it's like feature-length film.
It's kind of long.
And I did Fizz Buzz in Blazor, and so like I've done Fizz Buzz a lot, but I wanted to show you kind of like how I would go about displaying Fizz Buzz values. So I'm going to hit the buzz it. And so what Fizz Buzz does is like it writes out a list of numbers from between 1 and 100. And then if the number's 3 on the default, it'll write Fizz. And you can see right here, I have 1, 2, and Fizz, and 5 would be buzz. If it's divisible by both, like in the case of 15, it would write out Fizz Buzz. And you can see what I did here. I made the Fizz red and the buzz blue and the Fizz Buzz green. Red plus blue makes green. That's kind of why I chose it there. And then I displayed these 100 values in a table. And so one of the things you can do is I can change the values here, and you can see I've changed it to 6 and 5. So 5 and 6 are now buzz and Fizz respectively.
I like your little sliders too. That's cool.
Yeah, the sliders are kind of cool. I'm going to go in that in the longer tutorial because we don't have enough time to cover this. But I'm going to show you like how I built this table out. Now, one thing that you could do here is concatenate TRs and TDs together and put it in a loop and just write it out, and it would work. It would totally work. It's just kind of ugly. All right. And so like on the coding side, now I want to show you something that's built into HTML and JavaScript that you can use to create templates. So if you're doing stuff like this, using this technique is appropriate because, hey, it's a mini site. I don't need full-on Vue. I don't need full-on React to do this. I don't need to do all that. I can do this with just built-in tools. Plus, if they're pulling your repo down to look at it and get it running, this will just pretty much you copy in a folder. It'll kind of run. I mean, so you do need to put it on a web server, but you don't have to resolve any dependencies whatsoever, anything like that. Now I am using Bootstrap here, so I do have a dependency on that. And you could even remove that and do this with just straight vanilla HTML, like with Flexbox or Grid or something like that.
Yeah.
But I did use Bootstrap just because I'm so familiar with it. All right, so setting that up. So let's check out kind of what this is going to do. So the first thing
we're going to look at making that the grid part, right? That's the
just the grid part.
Okay.
So what I want to do is go ahead and I'm using VS Code here, and I'm going to open this up in live server. So this is what we call the non-completed version, and just show you kind of where we're at. And you can see right now it doesn't have anything. So nothing happens. Doesn't matter what I do, nothing's happened because we haven't coded yet. So we're going to code the function to render this little click event here in the buzz. But we're also, the first thing we're going to do is we got to mark up our template and put our template in place. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. So let's pull this down here. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I've got a project in here, and what I do in general, most of my projects is I'll create a CSS folder, image folder, a JavaScript folder. And now when I'm using vanilla templating, it also will create a template folder. I'm going to go in that into the lengthy version of like why I'm doing this. But for today, we're going to stay with this index page here and this Fizz Buzz page here. Okay. Or the Fizz Buzz JavaScript file, and that's it. So let's look through real quickly here how this is laid out. So I've got a head tag. You can see I'm bringing in Bootstrap in here. And then I've got my basic container in here. And then when you come down here, you can see if you look close, these are my sliders and whatever. And I'm going this real fast because this part doesn't really matter. And so now I've got my button right here, and my button is going to call the function called BuzzIt. And that's where all the work is going to happen. But the first thing that I need to do is I need to create a table in here to display it. As you can see, this is just an empty column with nothing on it. Now I've got a couple of styles already put in here called table responsive, and that's a Bootstrap style that allows it, when it gets too small, it'll scroll horizontally. Okay. And then I added a little bit of margin at the top. MT-2 is a margin top type thing built in Bootstrap, and that's it. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table. And so this is going to hold those 100 Bootstrap values, or those 100 Fizz Buzz values. And I'm going to add a couple of classes to this table. And this is just Bootstrap styling that you can add to it. And so like, it's basically saying, hey, make this, use the table styling from Bootstrap and then make it striped, which just means that one is white, one is that off gray, so that you can see it as you go down through the rows. Okay. But then every table has a T head tag. Okay. And I'm going to give it an ID. For today, I'm probably not going to use the this header, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in here so you can kind of understand kind of what we're doing. And then I gave this one a class called T dark, T head dark. And that just means it would be like dark gray. And then I'm going to put nothing in this. I'm going to put a little comment in here. And I always put comments in there so you kind of know kind of where, when you're looking through your code, you can see kind of where it's actually writing it. Then I'm just going to put a T body in here. And these are table bodies. And I'm going to give it an ID. And you can imagine what it's going to be. It's going to be Fizz Buzz, Fizz Buzz body. That's it. And I'm going to put a little comment in here. And here's where the magic happens, I think, that you may learn something if you haven't looked at this before. So what we're going to do is I need to create a bunch of TRs and TDs in here in a loop so I can programmatically add about 20 rows of data or 10 rows of data, or what is it, 10 rows, 10 columns. So 10 rows of data and 10 columns. Okay. So this is how you achieve that with just vanilla. Now there's a tag inside of HTML called the template tag. And this is what I think is cool. And this is why we're showing it. So when I create a template tag in HTML, and I can put whatever I want inside this template tag, and it will not render on the browser. And that's important. So I can put whatever I want in here, and it's not going to show up when someone navigates to the page in their browser. So the browser engines ignore it. Okay. So that's kind of cool because I can now put some structure in here. I'm going to go ahead and name this Fizz Buzz template. Fizz Buzz row. Let's call it Fizz Buzz row. I may have more than one day. And what I would do is here, I'm just going to put a TR in here. And watch this. I mean, this is cool because now what's happening here is I'm still using VS Code. It's still like making sure that my HTML is valid. And I'm just going to copy these 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right.
So you might have 11 there, actually.
Do I have 11? Thanks for keeping.
Maybe.
Thank you. I'll count them again. So I have 10. Now, the way I'm going to code this actually doesn't matter, but I just want to show you kind of how it works. Now, I'm going to also add another template in here. And if you watch the full version when I release it, I'll probably end up using this. But today, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to get there. So I'm just going to add the TH in here. So, you know, the TH, if I wanted to put a custom title in there, or I want to put column headings, whatever I want to do, I could put that in here. Okay. But for today, we're just going to work on the first template. And it's called Fizz Buzz row. So I'm going to go ahead and save that and watch what doesn't happen. So we're going to open up in live server here. And so nothing happens and doesn't show up. It doesn't render. And I believe, and I'm going to, if I inspect the source here,
It's not like it's blank. It's genuinely not there at all.
It's not there at all. Actually, it does show up. It just doesn't render.
Okay.
You can't see it in here, and it doesn't render.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, which is kind of cool, and that's what the template tag is for. Kind of neat. Otherwise, you'd have this broken HTML and like these weird things going on, so it doesn't render. Okay. So one of the things that I can do is I can go over here and I'm going to look at my my Fizz Buzz JavaScript here, and this is my buzz it function. And so need to do a little bit of work in here, and if you stay with me, it's not that complicated, but it will take a second to get this all set up. But once you get used to doing this, it's actually pretty easy. So the first thing that I need is I need the items. And this is just kind of specific to solving Fizz Buzz. I need the Fizz Buzz items themselves. And so when I wrote my solve for Fizz Buzz, I returned them as an array. Okay, so I don't want to get into this because you can go watch Fizz Buzz the movie, and you can see what I'm doing here. But like this is in general, this is going to loop over for 100 times and return an array for every number 1 to 100, either putting Fizz or Buzz, depending on the numbers they're passed in. And this is a ternary function that accomplishes that. I also have this done in a standard for loop with a switch case as well, if that makes more sense.
There's a lot of different ways to do this, which you got to talk about in that other video.
Or in the movie. So this isn't that important. What's important that you need to understand is that I'm returning an array. That's it. So I've got an array, and we'll look at it in the debugger so you can see kind of how the array looks. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. Any questions so far? Anybody asking questions?
No, I think we're good. Keep rolling. I'll push them up if we do.
Okay, cool. All right. So you just keep watching there. I'm looking at the screen. All right. So the first thing that I need to do is get the values from those sliders. Okay. And so I didn't want to go through all the HTML to do this, but those things have names. One's called Fizz range and one's called Buzz range. And I'm just going to get them by ID, and I'm going to say Fizz range. All right. And I'm going to get the value out of it. Okay. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to copy this and do this like this. And I'm going to call it Buzz range. So this will give me my 3 and 5, for example, in the defaults.
Okay.
That's all that's doing. So it's pulling the values off the page. And then I'm going to set my array, my Fizz Buzz items here, equal to the return of this function up here. Oops. Shouldn't be inverted. Fizz Buzz. Okay. So I'm going to call Fizz Buzz. I'm going to pass it 2 values. Value 1. Value 2. And that should be it. Let me make sure I spelled this right. I think I did it wrong. It's capital B. I didn't follow my name convention. It should have started with a lowercase f. But yeah,
it happens.
Ding me. So like, yeah. All right. So the next thing that I need to do is I want to go ahead and grab my template from the screen. So I want to grab the template. So one thing that I do when I'm coding is even though I know what I'm doing, a lot of times I'll still add comments so that if a procedure gets kind of long, I can kind of find my footing sometimes when I'm trying to figure out what I was trying to do. So these are more notes to myself, or maybe another program that comes along. So I'm going to grab the template. Okay, so I'm going to set another var here, and these could be lets, obviously, if I wanted to. I'm just so used to typing var. So I'm going to get the table body. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my good friend here, get my element by ID, because we named it, and it's going to be Fizz Buzz body. So that's pretty easy. And then
so now you're reaching into your template, that part that we created before.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and get the header. I'm not going to use this because I know that I'm going to run out of time. So like, but I'm going to go ahead in case we want to. We may get there. I don't think we will. So, so I'm going to go ahead and I go check to make sure that these are correct. so we don't have problems here. So this is Fizz Buzz header and Fizz Buzz body.
We've got Fizz header and Fizz Buzz body.
Sure do. That's why I check it.
There you go.
Fizz Buzz body, Fizz Buzz header. Okay. So let me save that. And let's get back to our JavaScript. So that's kind of what we're doing there. So all we're doing is getting that area on the screen that we can write to. Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and grab out. Well, so this will be running in a loop. Let me do this real quick because, and this will make sense. I want to go ahead and clear this out in case someone hits buzz it twice in a row. This will always clear it out, so we don't just like tack on, you know, different versions of Fizz Buzz and it just runs.
Okay.
All we're doing is taking this in here, what's ever in this body here, and just emptying it out. That's all it's doing. Okay. So pretty simple. All right. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to get my Fizz Buzz row from my template. Okay. So that's and that's doing it the same way we've been doing it. So I want to get, I'm going to call this template. And then I'm going to get it by document ID. And it's going to be called Fizz Buzz row. All right. So this is going to get this thing right here, all of this. And I think this is important. I'm going to come back to this a couple of times to show you kind of what's going on here. So I'm grabbing all of that with that statement. So when you then investigate this, you'll see template and the TR, the TD, and the whole 9 yards in there. Okay. But that's not exactly what I want. I want the interior of that. So I've got my template, and this is something you may not have seen before. You may have. I'm going to make a clone, and I'm going to use this thing called clone node. So I'm going to reference the variable here called template dot, and I'm going to say get the content in that interior of it. The reason this works is because it's declared as a template tag inside of HTML. Just to let you know.
Okay.
And I'm almost 100% positive of that. If I'm wrong on that and this works on everything, that's fine. But like, so like this content works on this template tag. So like now what I can do is I want to clone a node. And this is something that you may not have used inside of JavaScript before. And I'm going to pass it a value of true. And I'm going to explain to this what this is doing here. And this is kind of key to any templating function that you want to write. All right. So what this does is from template, I'm going to go grab the content. Okay. So that would grab this TR. Okay. So now I have the actual piece of HTML that I want. And then when I call clone node says get the first node inside the content. All right. So it grabs, when it does that, it's grabbing this node right here, TR. Okay. Then when I pass it true, it says get all of its siblings. So this is really useful for things like HTML when you're like, hey, I want this top level element and I want everything underneath it. So this could be as complex table as you could get. Maybe it has nested tables, maybe it has nested divs. It could be all kinds of stuff in here. And this clone node true would grab all of that, all of the siblings. Okay. And so now once I have that clone, I can go to work and use that. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I know that these are TDs or columns. And so I'm going to say, what I really want is I just want the TDs. I don't really want the TR. I want the TDs. Okay. And I'm going to use something called query selector. And this is another very powerful statement that if you're into JavaScript, you should like learn about query selector. But what this is going to do is I'm going to say, give me a collection of all of the TDs inside this clone.
Okay.
So this clone is this TR statement. And then it says, okay, if there's a TD tag in there, just return those. And so now it's just going to return this. So all of that just to get to this. Okay. So that I could count them. I did this for a reason, because I wanted mine to work whether if they changed the template, that the code would still work. So I wanted to know how many columns are in there. So like if someone, designer, came by and said, I don't like the 10 columns, I'm gonna make it 5 and make it longer, then my code would still work, because now all I'm doing is I'm pulling back how many there actually are.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know if we'll get to show that. When I do the longer one, I'll show like me changing the template and the code still working.
Yeah.
So that's column count. That tells me that, hey, there's 10 columns in here. So each row has 10 columns. All right. So then, and I promise we're getting here. We're almost done now. I'm just going to write a quick for loop, and I'm going to loop over Fizz Buzz items. All right. Which is kind of cool. And we've made for loops before on the channel, so I'm not going to go over into it. But basically, we're going to start at 1 because that's what I want to do. And then I'm going to say length. I'm going to grab the length of the Fizz Buzz items. This isn't 1, it's I. It's I. Okay.
Yep.
Then I'm going to I plus equals column count. The reason I'm doing that is I'm going to like go over this column, and then I'm going to like go 10 across, and I want it to skip over the next 10 at a time. All right. Does that make sense? Or did I explain that well? So this is going to be, if the first time it comes through, it's 1, it's going to add the column count 10 to it and just go pop it over.
Okay. Right. Yep.
So then I have my clone here, which I set up, and I'm going to go ahead and clone it again. All right. And I'm going to set it to true. Then I'm going to get my columns again, and I'm going to select them all. I could just not do this, but I think when I was doing it, I hadn't put in my other stuff in here, but like, we'll just do it one more time. It's okay. I probably could remove this code. Because I added in the flexibility for it to run over whatever the column count was. All right, so now I've got my clone and I got my columns. And the other thing too is I need to like, because when I'm cloning and looping it, the reason I clone it and column it every time in the loop is because I got to get a new fresh copy every time. So that's why I'm doing it. I have to get a new clone and I might as well go ahead and get the column count every time. Okay. So then I'm going to write another loop, and this is where it gets a little bit complicated, but it's not that bad. All right. So I'm going to go column index. I'm going to set that to 0, raise start at 0. And then I'm going to, as long as my column index is less than my column count. And this is why this works, whether I change my template to 5 or 3 or 10 or 15 or 20, it's just going to look at this column count and tell me how many columns there are. That's all it's doing. All right. And then I'm just going to add 1 to the column index every time, which is a plus plus. So start at 0. As long as my column count is less than, or as long as my column index is less than the current column count, add 1 to it. And that's all it does. Okay. And then this is where the magic happens. We got about 3 statements left, and we got this. All right. And then I can ask questions. Any questions yet?
No, not yet.
Good. All right. So we know that columns are an array, and I'm going to put an index in here. And then I can do the set attribute. And this allows me to actually set the class of things, you know, or any attribute actually. But I'm going to use this to set the class so that I can colorize the values based on their value. Okay. So set attribute, and then I'm going to hit the class value. Then I'm going to call the class value. So this would say class equals, if you're looking at your CSS, and I'm going to give it a value. And I'm going to say the value is value of the current Fizz Buzz item. Okay, which is I plus current column index. I can't see. There we go. So what this does is it starts at 0. It'll write it out for the first one in the column. Then it gets to the next one, the next column, and then the third column, the fourth column, all the way up to 10, so that it writes that string across the top, and that's a row. Okay, and it's putting a class on those. So this class will be class equals Fizz, class equals Buzz, or class equals the number. And if you look at my CSS code over here in my CSS, you can see what I did was I just created a simple class. Fizz is red, Buzz is blue, and Fizz Buzz is green. So it's going to give this, and you can see here, even in VS Code, I'm pointing to it like you can see it. It says element class equals Fizz. And that's exactly what that set attribute is, writing class equals Fizz. Right? So it's pretty simple, I hope. And let's just put that. So we've now set the class value. Now let's just set the actual content in here. So again, I'm going to stay with my same columns array, column index. Then I'm going to just set the text content equal to the Fizz Buzz items. So it's FB items I plus column index. And then finally, the magic is you take the table body dot append child. This will write it to your page, and you pass it the clone in. And that's it. So if you save it, and I did it right, and I can answer questions.
Let's see.
Let's see if I did it right. If not, we'll debug it and look at it. Cool. There's a lot of typing without even running it. Hopefully I did it right. So I've got a value of 3 and 5, and then hit Buzz. It didn't work. So that's okay though. We can let me see if I've made sure that I did everything.
Get a typo in there somewhere.
Probably. So what we can do is we can set the debugger here and just see kind of what is going on.
Yeah, let's see.
So inside the debug here, I can then just run this from the server, which is kind of cool. To make sure that my launch is there. Okay, yeah. It should run. So now we've got this running and the debugger fired. So we can see kind of what happened. And then I can go ahead and I was going to show you this anyway. So I'm going to put this in a watch here so you can see kind of what it looks like. And I'm going to expand this so we can kind of.
So that lets us keep a track of the value of that variable.
Yeah. So standard debugging technique is to look at what the values come back. So this right now is undefined. It's got nothing in it. I can step over it. And now I have an array, an empty array. There's nothing in it. Length of 0. Okay. So then I step over here, and I can actually go over here and look at my value. So it's 3, value 2 is 5. So that worked. I named that correct. And now I'm going to call my Fizz Buzz function. And look, we've actually got our length of 101 in here. And we've got our value, and let me get to the value part of it. And you can see here that it's at value 0, it's 0,
okay.
1, 2, and 3, it's Fizz now. So that's what our array internally looks like. So a step over. Okay, nothing yet. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my Fizz Buzz row. I can look at that. And you can see now, like I have the there's a lot of attributes on this thing, but it found it, so it's good. And then I get my columns, and I can look at my columns, and you can see now I got all my TDs in there. And I got my column count, which is 10. I don't know what I did wrong. Oh, simple misspelling.
There you go.
So that's it. That's how you would do a debug statement. So that's just
Let's
simple.
see. So you knew your logic worked then, because you like, it's just a matter then of like the way it was writing it to the screen somehow.
Yeah, or I could have messed something up. So so I just ran it again. What was this?
Yeah. So let's see. Maybe that fixed it.
I did.
Okay. One typo.
So if I run this.
One missing N.
Yeah, one typo. I'm just running the debugger. And then, like, of course, I can change my values.
Yep.
And it works. So now I Fizz Buzz it and just keep going. All right. So, like, it's pretty cool. So that's how you do templating in JavaScript. And we're running out of time here. I want to answer some questions. So, like, what I'm going to do next in the longer tutorial is show you how to something that's more useful is like, how would you make this menu where you could define this menu in one spot and not have to like repeat that HTML over and over again in each page and make it reusable, kind of like a component. And what I'm actually doing is using JS and storing templates in a separate file and then reading them off disk with fetch. And that way you can define your templates in a separate file that's separate from your site markup. And it's still like solid HTML. It's still, when you look at it in VS Code, all your IntelliSense, everything's there, and it just kind of works. Okay, so that is templating using the template tag with JS, vanilla. So
cool. It's definitely complex. I think it's complex.
But it's what I would say is let's get rid of this debugger here. Let's just stop this. What I would say is it's no more complex than me going in this this loop here and building out HTML. So I've still got the loop over the Fizz Buzz items coming back right here, and I would do something like create a string and tr, like where I'm actually typing in TR and then a TD and then putting the value in there or using template literals to do it and then building that up in the string. It's just really it's not very clean. And this is like a very kind of programmer way to like loop over these things so that you don't have to like concatenate strings together. So I think it's a better method to do it. And if you're doing a lot of JavaScript development and you're not using a templating engine and you want one that's lightweight, this is how you would do it.
Make your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Bobji said, you're off by an error.
Yeah, I just didn't spell it right. So, which is the nature of, like, if you guys in C#, that would have, the compiler wouldn't have let me do that and I would have seen it. But JavaScript, it doesn't, it sometimes can pull your hair out.
Definitely. Esteban liked it, so that's cool. He said, creating very reusable code. It's a good practice.
Cool. All right. So, and Rafael is going to say, he's going to add this string to his library.
Yeah, there you go. You can come back and reference it when you need it. You are in the library.
So I'm in the library.
That's it. That's awesome.
Hopefully, if there's any questions, we got 10 minutes here. Is there any question? I mean, I know one guy said he was confused. Is there any question that I can answer to make this more relevant and more understandable?
Yeah, I think somebody kind of early said they were confused. I don't know if that's, it was Drinko again. If there is a clarifying question, let us know. Which part's confusing? Adam's asking, any lightweight templating extensions for VS Code?
I don't know. Other than the Bobby templates that I just made.
Yeah.
So, but basically, this is roll your own, Adam, and so like you're making it purpose built for what you want. there is merit to Vue and to like React. I'm not saying that this is a replacement for those. It's just sometimes you just don't need all that. And it gets too heavy when you just really want a simple menu, 3 pages, and you just want to make a table appear, with some data in it. And it's no different than when you see like C# backend where Razor is doing the exact same kind of things using replacements. I'm just doing it all inside of a JavaScript loop, And in templating, your markup will have, what's he saying?
No, Derek is asking if you would you fetch the template from your template folder when you're trying to get it async.
Yeah.
So that's how you'd normally set it up.
I'm not going to demo this. I'll just show you the code. So let me stop this. I'll just do it since you asked. So what I did was I've got some templating code in here, and I'm using fetch right here. And I'm going to explain this in a longer tutorial. And then I'm using fetch to return it. And then I'm parsing that, doing the same kind of things. It's a little bit different, but the same kind of clone and everything that I was doing before. And then my template is in this templates folder. And you can see my menu is just, I called it a template. And then I just put my Bootstrap menu in here. So the reason I did this was because when I'm building out mini sites, it has 4 to 5 pages. And we're going to show this at the Coder Founder in July the 6th. The class starts July 6th. We're going to show them how to do this. And the reason is because when you're building out menus and you're using just static HTML, you got to put that menu on every single page. And typically what you're doing when you're not using some kind of like layout or templating engine is you're setting the active link over here based on which one it's doing. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to set this active with JavaScript, but I can hold my HTML in one place. So if I need to add a new menu page right here, it'll show up on all the pages. And so if I need to change the image or something like that, or the colors, I can do that in one spot. And using the templating tag, it means that this HTML it's real HTML, and I'm not trying to do that in a template literal, some kind of string concatenation in JavaScript. It can get really confusing, and you can see, yeah, my TRTD is real simple, and you build that with a string. Start trying to do this with strings, and it just gets kind of like, it gets kind of ugly. And this is just a simple menu, but what if you had like a grid and you got like, a grid of items and, and that kind of stuff? It gets kind of ugly on the back end trying to do it that way.
Right.
But I'll release the video once I get it recorded on like how this really works. So that's kind of how I'm doing it, Derek.
Cool.
Hope that answered your question.
So Esteban was asking about new move toward web components. Wouldn't it combine the markup and logic?
Yeah, so when you look at Blazor has components, React has components. That's what they're doing. You build these components, and with Blazor, you have components that have attributes and values you can pass into them and like all these kind of things. But at the end of the day, it's just JavaScript. So when it all gets transpiled down in Blazor land, and then in React and all these other templates, they're doing the same kind of things. The difference is, what I was going to say, the difference is like when you're using a templating library is like your markup for your page would be a little bit different. You would see something similar to like you would actually put the TRs in here a lot of times. And then you would have like bracket, value or something like that. Depending on what they use to identify it. And so they put it in line. I like it when it's not in line, because now what I do is I have this template in here. So let me show you the power of this. So I'm going to take off, and I'm just going to hope this works. I'm going to take off 5
Let's
rows. See. Okay. I just changed my template, and then I'm going to run this again. And watch what it does. I hope.
Let's see.
Let's get our Fizz Buzz can in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 rows. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Because you just change the template. That's cool.
Yeah, I changed the template, and the way I wrote my code was to be more flexible so that it doesn't. So that's one of the considerations that you can do when you're thinking about it. And it didn't alter it at all. And that works with grids and things like that are simple. Menus maybe not so much, but that's just one of the powers of doing it in a way that allows the template to be changed and your code not break.
Right.
That's kind of cool.
That's cool. So Mahab has a question too. Yeah. So again, if we can do it with vanilla JS, what's the main advantages of using React or Vue, etc.? Is there anything you can do using frameworks that cannot be done with vanilla JS?
You can do anything in vanilla JS.
Because they're all just built on vanilla JS, right?
Just that React and Vue give you a lot of things out of the box that you don't have to code up. And so there's significant value in those. I'm not saying there's not. It's just that when you need a lightweight solution, vanilla JS can solve your problem. There's significant value in React and Vue and all those kind of stuff. They've got all this kind of figured out already, and that's why those libraries exist. So you can build layout pages, data-driven elements, those kind of things. So there are definitely advantages to it.
Yep.
So, if someone was watching this from Vue or React, I'm not saying you can't use those. It's just that I got 5 pages here. I just wanted the menu to appear on each page. I don't need Vue to do that.
Right.
It also, going through this route, lets you understand kind of like what's going on behind the scenes with these other ones. So,
yeah, okay, interesting. Cool. Okay, about the top of the hour. Let's wrap this up.
That's cool. Derek had another question. Oh, we already answered that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we already did that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
Yep. Take this off. So we have talk about a couple of things here. For anybody that's joining us for the first time, we appreciate it. Thank you. If you've been here before, you've heard me say this before, you can check us out online, coderfoundry.com. You can go to /job roadmap, and you can join our newsletter there and get our 5 steps to breaking in. You can also check us out, coderfoundry.com/virtual. We have a class coming up on July 6th.
July 6th, right after Independence Day. So
right after Independence Day. Interviews are going on right now. So
it's going up. So if you thought about attending and you thought about coming, don't wait. And I'm not trying to oversell. I'm just saying that we can accept 30. We're somewhere in the 20 neighborhood right now. But those apps come in they'll be coming in pretty quick. So you need to get your app in. There is a process to follow.
Yeah.
And eventually you won't have enough time for us to get you in.
We're 100 and something apps for the 30 spots. I don't know what the exact number is, but somewhere around that. Right now. So if you're interested, definitely go ahead and do that. There is a process to do that. You got to go. One of the first things you got to do is take the quiz. So you can go there. You can actually do that before you even spoke to anybody if you're interested. I like you guys when you take the quiz and come and post your scores. I think it's interesting. So you can go do that. What else too? Oh, you can buy Fizz Buzz energy drink because we talked about Fizz Buzz today. We do have that available on the website. You can go to fizzbuzzenergy.com.
Fizz Energy, man.
I think we literally have like 2 4-packs left.
Yeah, so
we don't have a lot left. We may be ordering more.
But just know
we don't have a lot left at the minute.
It's hand shipped with love.
It is.
I mean,
it is.
Tape the box myself.
At the minute, Bobby is actually putting the thing together and shipping it out personally. So if you do go order it, you get Bobby's DNA when it comes to you.
You get a Coder Foundry sticker too.
Oh, I love Coder Foundry
stickers in.
Awesome.
No buttons.
So yeah, you can go check that out. That'd be cool.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
And final thing, if you haven't joined us on Discord already, you can. Our Discord has blown up. We got a bunch of you guys in there. People keep joining every day. That's cool. If you haven't joined already, you missed the boat on the founders tag. Sorry, everybody else that already joined got a cool little founders tag. So
all right,
we changed that little color. So yeah, so big announcement tomorrow. Make sure you come back. I think Esteban might be more excited than we are. I don't know.
All right,
I think that's pretty funny.
I hope that the announcement does its. I hope you didn't oversell it.
No, not at all. And Fiona, yeah, we can figure that out. Can we figure? No, actually, we can't do Fizz Buzz, can we? Because it's liquid. I don't think we can. It's got to be US. But if you win the prize tomorrow, we'll figure that out. We'll ship to any.
Figure that out. If you win the prize tomorrow, we'll ship it to the UK.
Yep.
Definitely find a way to do it.
Yep. I'll take a flight, just a little flight back home for a. I'll hand deliver it.
Hand deliver it to Fiona.
Like I have to hand deliver this, so if I could just jump on a flight to go.
Quick jaunt to the UK, a little weekend trip.
Exactly. Here you go. Adam says nearly 200 on Discord now, so that's awesome.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We just crossed 37,000 on our YouTube channel, so appreciate that. Thank you.
We did, yeah. This morning we hit 37K, so that's super cool. Thank you everybody for subscribing.
Good. So
50's awesome. I want 100.
Yeah, we want 100.
50's the next goal, but we want 100. I want that little plaque. I want that little YouTube plaque.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So we will be back tomorrow for our big announcement. We'll talk about some other stuff tomorrow too. But we'll be all
about me. So we'll talk about other stuff.
It might be. It might be.
All right, cool. Well, we'll leave some links in here. I may push this code up to GitHub if it's not there already. I got to go check to see if I pushed it yet for you to check out. And then, yeah, just watch it back if you want to watch it slower. I try to be as slow as possible, but check out JavaScript templating. Kind of cool.
Cool.
All right.
We'll see you guys
tomorrow. Good luck, guys. Keep coding. See you tomorrow.